Hey, it's the Average Dan alongside Famous from FLW Videos, and welcome to this week's episode of Talk Data to Me. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who made our first episode a success. This week, we're going to help you get started with YouTube analytics. Famous, let them know what we're going to do at the end of this video and future videos.
So I know you guys are very excited about this, and we know this because from the first episode, we ended up getting over 80 comments of people asking us to review their channels. So that's what we're going to do, and that's what we plan on doing for future episodes, and we will be doing it at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that.
That sounds great. Let's get started. Okay, so to get started, you want to be on your main channel page. In the upper right-hand corner of your channel, you'll see your icon. If you click on that, you'll see a drop-down menu, and you want to click on Creator Studio. Now, Creator Studio is going to bring you to the dashboard. It shows you a variety of different information, videos, comments, and even a little subsection of analytics. But we actually want to drill into the full analytics section. So you're going to want to go over to the left side of the screen and just past the halfway point, click on the Analytics tab. Okay, that brings us to the overview screen. Now, the overview screen is going to show you high-level information about specific metrics within YouTube Analytics. Keep in mind that the information that is displayed is for the last 28 days. So also, you want to take a look at the order in which YouTube presents this information to you. There is a reason that these particular metrics are provided in the order that they are in. Keep in mind that the number one item is watch time and the last one is subscribers. Now, the first section, watch time, is a measure of the total minutes that your viewers spend on your site, with the goal, obviously, to maximize the total, get as many minutes as you possibly can across your entire channel. One of the ways you can do that is by increasing your average view duration.
The average view duration is off on the top right side of the screen, and what that is the view duration of your video. So if you post 3 to 4 videos and the average is around a minute, that means that people are viewing your video for an average of 1 minute per video, regardless of how long the video is. Now that's important, obviously, because you want to get it to be up as high as you possibly can, but it's all relatively speaking. Maybe you do have a minute, but you only post a minute-long videos. That would indicate that you have a 100% retention ratio. But for the most part, people don't tend to have that, but that's also a key indicator of when are your viewers falling off of your videos. And other than that, we can kind of lead that into how important views are.
Right, to get both watch time and an average view duration in minutes, people need to find your videos and watch your videos. So views, of course, are the total number of times that somebody comes and watches your video. I believe a view counts after the first 3 seconds, but we can verify.
That's actually a very good point to make. So we probably need to flesh that out a little bit, because a lot of people don't know that it's not just simply if someone clicks on your video. They're actually, what would you call them? They're standards, I guess, to create what a genuine view actually is.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously something in place to prevent somebody from just refreshing the screen a bunch of times and trying to build your views. So I think they implement that minimum time that somebody has to spend on your video to determine whether or not it is a view, which makes sense, because obviously if somebody spends a second on your video, it wasn't enough time for them to determine whether they were interested in the content, and it probably prevents some of the bots and other automated systems from creating artificial views.
Absolutely.
And the one last section here that is not currently populated is monetization.
So at what time can you become monetized?
For monetization, you need to have at least 10,000 views. That's something that they recently implemented on YouTube to try to clean up some of the smaller channels that were kind of fly by night and weren't really in it for the long haul. So they established that goal at 10,000, which I hear a lot of small YouTubers who were upset about that. But when
how crazy is that though, that people are upset by that?
When you really,
I mean, you're talking about what, a couple pennies is what some of these people are getting, and they're like, that makes no sense.
Exactly.
Why I can't? You know, you have to get a $100 worth to be able to even receive a payment from AdSense. And people are complaining when, you know, previously they were making 4, 5, 6, 7 cents, and they were on no pace by any means to be able to receive that AdSense payment.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, trying to be worried about monetization under 10,000 views is just a lack of understanding of the amount of money that you can really make in that particular view count anyway. So, in addition to these top categories, they give you some additional information across the bottom. The likes, dislikes, comments, shares, the number of videos that you have in your playlist during that time period, and your total subscribers. Again, noticing that subscribers, while it may be a status symbol to some, is the very last metric that YouTube provides to you in this overview.
Very interesting that it is in the bottom of this, I would say.
Right. So the next category after monetization is likes, and that's pretty obvious. During the time period, which again is 28 days, it shows you the total number of likes that you've received across all of your videos. This is a good indicator when you compare it to the next section, which is dislikes, to kind of get a gauge whether or not the people that you're pulling into your videos are actually interested in the content. And this may also be an indicator, or you may see skewed numbers here if you fall into the trap of trying to practice clickbait, and bringing people to your content under false pretenses. So that's something to keep in mind. That may be a metric that can help you measure that sort of thing. And that leads us into comments.
Okay, so as far as comments goes, that's also another self-explanatory subtopic. I mean, in reality, these bottom 6 are kind of related to just engagement in general. Something that, people may say, oh, well, dislikes is a bad thing. Technically, it counts as engagement. I don't know if any of you watch PewDiePie, but he actually did a video where he said like 1 million dislikes, and he tried to get as many dislikes as possible just to mess with the YouTube algorithm, and he ended up becoming, on the trending page and everything by doing so. But I actually wanted to ask the average Dan one question about dislikes. So a lot of times you'll see where it shows like a green arrow indicating you're doing better in some subject, but dislikes is a little confusing, because to me, the way that YouTube presents it, and it's important to know this, what does it actually mean? Because, if you get less dislikes, does that mean that you've done better in the given time period?
I've never actually gone that in depth about the change in dislikes. I don't know whether or not they reverse that trend indicator.
I've always wondered that.
Right. Certainly something we can look into and provide
and we
you guys.
can leave it in the comments section for you guys. I just thought that was interesting, and that would probably confuse a lot of people. I know it did me at first looking at it. But moving on to the comment section, kind of getting back to that, that's just a general engagement, once again, where people leave comments. I don't think it counts your own replies to a video, but it just counts the general comments. So the more comments you can get, the more engagement you've created, and the more likely your video is to be viewed, and then also move up the search rank. And then the next section that we can talk about is the shares.
Yeah, I mean, and in some cases, the heavy commenting is a good indicator of engagement, and a lot of times that may even lead to your share count. So obviously, your shares are the amount of times that somebody took your video and shared it on social media. It measures, whether somebody copy and paste the URL, or whether they actually clicked the share button and chose one of the different social media platforms to share the video. Depending on how they did it is going to determine how it displays when you actually click into these sections and drill down to the specifics of them, which you can do on most of these categories and get a much better understanding of the breakdown. But yeah, shares are the kind of the reach of your video beyond YouTube to other places that can potentially help you grow and get more viewers outside of the YouTube community.
And then speaking of sharing, the equivalent of that, sharing it within YouTube, would be videos in a playlist. That's when someone decides to create a playlist and they add your video to it. Maybe you had a great tutorial about a specific topic and somebody made a playlist talking about, here's how to do this specific thing, and they choose your video. Well, then you have successfully had a video added to a playlist. The more times you can get a video added to different playlists from different people, honestly just increases the reach. So you're more likely to reach a wider audience, which we all know is a very difficult thing to do in YouTube, to just simply reach an audience. So the last and final topic, I'm going to leave it to Dan to talk about, and that is the subscribers.
Subscribers. It's the thing you hear about the most. Everybody wants to talk
It's
about
the buzzword.
subscribers.
It's the bee's knees.
And nobody wants to talk about subscribers more than small YouTubers, because they
Absolutely.
look at, for one, YouTube kind of does itself a disservice because it presents awards to people based on subscribers, when in reality, subscribers aren't what really drives growth on YouTube. Interesting to note, and something that I picked up on YouTube looking at some people who have reached some of the milestones, whether it's the silver, gold, or diamond play button, is that there are other metrics beyond subscribers that they actually use to give those rewards. So if you end up getting 1 million subscribers, but your views and watch time don't match what a channel should look like, they don't give you the play button. So
But no one mentions that. How many videos have you guys seen of 100,000 subscriber video, and they get the plaque and everything, but they don't talk about the rest of it.
Because the reality is, if you're growing your channel in an organic fashion, all those other metrics happen on their own. It's only when you attempt to artificially inflate your subscriber count that you run into problems like that. And YouTube isn't stupid. They know when the total product of your YouTube channel doesn't match what is showing on your subscriber total. So again, keep in mind that subscribers are shown last in this section, and I think with good reason. While they do run the potential of helping you grow your channel by building your community, keep in mind that for a lot of YouTubers, the majority of their views come from non-subscribers. So I wouldn't get too caught up in the whole subscriber game. And if you're curious about what to potentially avoid in the subscriber game, episode 1 that we did last week actually covers sub for sub, that taboo concept that is still making its rounds out there in social media and on YouTube.
And I highly recommend you to check that out if you are new to the channel. We even go over a sub for sub live stream session so you guys can get an in-depth look at how much sub for sub has evolved. And
I've received several personal comments made to me from other YouTubers, including Nico, who actually runs Morning Fame. Excited about how in depth we covered that particular subject, letting us know that it was something or a depth that a lot of other people don't go to. And that's kind of our goal here on Talk Data to Me. Our goal is to give you as much information as possible to empower you to grow your channel in a smart way, in a legitimate way, so you get that organic growth. And if you start to do all the stuff that we're going to cover in the coming weeks and what we covered last week, your channel will grow. It'll probably grow faster than it's growing now, and it'll be sustained growth. So you don't have to worry about going out and sub for subbing somebody for 1,000 subscribers and then having 50 views, because none of those people care about your channel. They were just giving you something to get something, and that's never a positive relationship. So
we've covered the in-depth YouTube analytics, all 10 of them, and now we are about to get to my favorite part of the video. Dan and I are very excited to be able to announce this, and it is the channel review of the week.
All right, now it's time to announce the winner of our very first channel review.
And the winner is
Driving Me Crazy. Alright, so Driving Me Crazy. This channel is actually a channel that we've been taking a look at for a while. Dennis over at Driving Me Crazy has a lot of great content, and he has admittedly favored the artistic side of his channel development over analytics. He has a genuine concern that to focus on analytics may somehow compromise what he wants to do at an artistic level, and we completely understand that.
So what we decided to do was to actually cater this channel review response to kind of dissect them into two different categories. So what Dan is going to do is cover the analytical side, and then I'm going to cover the artistic / cosmetic side, and basically what we can do to help Drive Me Crazy, increase his views and, just general statistics through these suggestions.
And one thing to keep in mind, and especially in the case of this channel, is that obviously there is an extreme side of analytics where you simply get lost in the numbers and your only goal is to drive each metric. But there's certainly a lot of artistic channels on YouTube, and you definitely don't want to sacrifice what it is that brought you to YouTube, what it is that you have a passion for, because the reality is none of those metrics ever happen if you don't have passion for what you're doing and you stop creating videos.
And I personally think that is what DMC, that's what I'm going to call him, I think that's what DMC is a little bit worried about, is just kind of sacrificing who you are. Yeah, the gurus may say, well, follow the trend, we'll do this. He's not wanting to do that because that's not the type of videos he's wanting to upload. So we want to help him to, increase his own subject of videos, his own passions, because passion is going to ultimately be the key fire, I guess, to be able to increase the statistics.
And actually, while we're on the topic, coincidentally, Dennis just put out a video with the title Art.
What are the odds of this?
I know, right? What are the odds? Art versus analytics. So it's certainly something that he has actually been contemplating himself. There's always trying to weigh that desire to grow your channel, but again, not sacrificing what you believe are your core beliefs. So we think we're able to offer some sound advice that can help him improve his channel and allow him to stay true to who he is and what his channel's about. And with that, Jacob is going to get us started by taking a look at some of the cosmetic changes that Dennis may be able to implement to improve his channel.
So when it comes to cosmetics, I have 4 suggestions for Driving Me Crazy that I personally think is going to be able to drive some results, and they're actually fairly easy to accomplish. So the first one is going to be the custom URL. The custom URL is unlocked at 100 subscribers. Once you unlock that, you can create your own, and you can create something very easy for people to find. It's also very easy to remember when you create it, so it's very, quick to just throw it on. Somebody asks for your channel and you can just simply, spit out the link and, there you go. They can access your channel. You don't have to worry about copying and pasting, anything like that. So I definitely recommend you to use that feature if you have it unlocked, and in Driving Me Crazy's situation, he does have it. So I highly recommend him to use it. For number 2, the image on his channel, so the logo on the channel, as you can notice, it has a white background, and that means that he uploaded a non-transparent image. I would highly recommend you to upload a transparent image that basically eliminates the background, and it also increases the professionalism in doing so. And if you're worried about saying something like, oh, well, I don't have Photoshop or anything like that, there's actually a free website that you can use called GIMP, and it's a free software, like I said. We also have a link in the description to it as well if you're interested in trying it out. But I personally think that can up the quality of the channel when somebody goes to it. They're not going to see, oh, well, that's sloppy, or oh, well, that's not, the more professional thing to do. So I would definitely recommend Driving Me Crazy to update that. So for number 3, it's related to the watermark on the video. So currently it is a picture of Dennis, and it's not even the Driving Me Crazy logo, which you see pretty often on a lot of channels. But what we actually recommend is to change it to a subscribe button. The subscribe button is very small. It's something that sits off in the corner. It's a constant call to action, but it's more or less a type of subconscious call to action. You're not literally saying, oh, click on the bottom right where it says subscribe. You're not doing anything like that, but it's something that'll kind of linger in people's minds when they're watching your video. And we have proof that we basically have seen results that when you add that, you get a lot more subscribe clicks by just simply trading out your watermark. So the fourth and final suggestion that I have is related to channel organization. So Dennis actually posted a video a couple days ago talking about the importance of playlists, that, you know, what they can do to drive traffic to your channel. And I completely agree with it. So Dennis is already focused on creating very distinct playlists and kind of splitting up his content. So the next step is to get that type of concept put onto your actual channel. So what we would recommend is that you put some of those playlists onto your channel, move it horizontally so people can actually see what's within the playlist without having to actually click on it. And it also would be a good idea to maybe not leave just the uploads as the default first type of, you know, ribbon on your content. And what's cool about this is that you can actually put in, you know, what you want people to see. Maybe a certain playlist is what you're currently promoting, so go ahead and bump that up. And then let's say you focus on a different one at a different point in time, simply switch it out. So that's something that you can do to kind of draw people's attention in. And I personally think that if you can follow these steps, and this is not just for driving me crazy, but this is just for everyone. If you can follow these steps, if you fall into any of these categories, you can definitely increase the results of your channel if you can do that. So that's kind of the cosmetic section that I'm covering. So Dan is actually going to cover the analytical side, the behind the hood of Drive Me Crazy.
Alright, so now I'm going to take a look at analytics and some other areas that can help this channel grow, with, you know, the understanding of not impeding on the artistic license of Dennis and what he's trying to do with his channel. So one of the items that Famous mentioned was the idea of using a custom URL. In line with that, in an effort, one of the things that we noticed, if you go to YouTube and you do a search for Driving Me Crazy, his channel doesn't come up in that search. You actually either have to search for Driving Me Crazy channel, or, you know, find another way to actually get to his channel. And obviously that could prevent some people from finding his channel and potentially cost him some views. So one of the things that we have seen others use with success is the idea of using a hashtag. In this case, in all of his video keywords and perhaps his titles, depending on what he's comfortable doing, he can actually include the hashtag Driving Me Crazy. Using this repetitive keyword in all of his videos and on his channel will allow him to promote the concept of, hey, to find me on YouTube, simply search for hashtag Driving Me Crazy. He can also use that cross-platform to other social media accounts and make it a consistent way for people to find him on whatever platform they're on, without having to remember different variations of his username to actually locate his stuff. Because obviously none of the metrics even start if people never make it there to view your content. And again, you can be the most creative channel in the world, but if people don't find a way to see you, then it's all for naught. So using that hashtag, implementing the hashtag Driving Me Crazy, is certainly a way that will help people find him and enjoy his content. And like we mentioned, he does have great content, so you definitely want to find all the best ways to share that content with people. And one of the things to understand is metrics are not just about chasing the dollar. It's trying to get your content in front of the people who care about it as often as possible. Because why else create art if you're not interested in sharing it with others? So, you know, that's certainly something to keep in mind. All right, so the next thing we want to look at to improve this channel is keywords. To do so, we're going to take a look at one of Dennis's videos, one of his most recent videos, which is Art versus Analytics, to see what he's done with keywords and what we could possibly improve upon to get him more views and overall improved performance on his site in terms of the number of people who are seeing his content. So if we drill into this particular video, and you have some of the tools that are available to you installed. In this case, we have both TubeBuddy and vidIQ installed. vidIQ is going to give you some interesting snapshot statistics up here, and as well as TubeBuddy. And what we want to do using these tools is look at the actual keywords that are on this video. Now, looking at these keywords, I see a lot of single keywords. There are a couple multi-part keywords or actual key phrases that he's included. So what we want to do is look at these phrases and keywords and see how they rank in terms of competition. Keyword research is one of the best tools you can use in the analytics world to help grow your site. It has no impact on the type of content that you're putting out. It's simply, once you have created your content, how you are able to get it in front of people who may be interested in watching it. So taking a look at this, and so right here we see he's chosen art versus analytics as his title. It's also here as a keyword. So we're just going to highlight that. I'm going to copy that. And then using TubeBuddy, there's a tool within TubeBuddy called Tag Explorer. And what Tag Explorer does is allow you to enter a keyword or key phrase, click Explore, and it's going to show you a snapshot of the competition. This is going to help you decide whether this is the best keyword to include on your video, and also certainly whether or not you would then extend that keyword to the actual title of your video. In this case, we see in the keyword score down here that the search volume is low and the competition is average. This would typically make for a less than attractive option as a keyword. What we really want to do is, ultimately, in a perfect world, we want high search volume and low competition. The closer we get to that, the more successful our keywords are going to be, because A, there's a lot of people looking for it, and B, you're not competing with a ton of people to get those, top 5 or 10 search results, or at least get on the first page in the top 20. So, thinking about this, we would then say, okay, well, art versus analytics is not necessarily the strongest keyword. So we then try to search for other possible key phrases that may work better and get us a better result. So right now he's talking about art and analytics, which is basically his concern in terms of analytics negatively impacting the creative side of his video. So, we can just do random, creativity and analytics. You really have to play around with them and kind of try to find key phrases that other people are using to search for this type of topic. So, as you can see with that particular one, and that was just a random one, we see that the competition is very low, but the search volume is average, whereas last time search volume was low. So this comes up with a score of 76 out of 100, and it's actually a good overall keyword. The super competitive keywords is not where small YouTubers want to focus their efforts. What you're actually trying to do is determine, so if analytics is a extremely high volume, high competition keyword, you want to do a kind of a subset of analytics. In this case, we're doing not just analytics, but creativity and analytics, and we're trying to slice out a piece of the pie that we can compete with. You're not going to go out there and, compete against the big dogs who have, all kinds of different metrics in their favor, from their successfulness to the number of views and everything else they have going for them. They have a lot of momentum behind them and are much more likely to rank higher than you on those highly competitive keywords. So in this case, we chose one. creativity and analytics, and it came back with a good score. So anything that's good or very good are the kind of keywords that you want to target. Now what this tool does is it actually allows you, in this case this isn't my video, but one of the options, instead of copy into clipboard, it actually is insert into current video. So what you would do is you would sit on this page and say, okay, creativity versus analytics, hey, it has a good rating, insert it into my video, and then you would try the next one. And you basically want to do this for all the keywords that you choose to include in your video. You know, try to get as many goods as possible. If you feel like you've exhausted all the opportunities of good to very good keywords, then you can certainly, you know, throw in some average keywords to kind of include in that mix. But you definitely want to target those key phrases as a smaller YouTuber as much as possible, because that's going to let you focus on a smaller piece of the pie that has enough enough search volume to make it worth competing for in the first place, and also competition that's low enough that you have a fighting chance. So that's basically how we are going to use keywords to improve the opportunities for our channel to get the creativity, you know, that we're focused on in front of people who actually want to see it. Now, Dennis happens to be a member of a number of small YouTuber communities, and the traffic that he's currently getting on these videos is probably due to his interaction with the community, which is excellent. Community is essential in success on YouTube, but he wants to be able to, and we want, you know, for him to be able to extend past those social media posts that says, hey, check out my video, or, you know, people are aware of him in that community to look. We want the people who have no idea who Dennis is out there doing a search for analytics, you know, and they're concerned about whether it affects their creativity, to be able to stumble upon his channel and say, hey, this is some pretty good content, I want to subscribe. And that's basically what your keywords are going to do for you. It's not all the people that know you, know your content, and are already subscribers. It's those people who have no idea who you are. They're simply searching on a topic, and you want to be one of the options that comes back in those search results, that they can see and they can realize that there's quality here, and, you know, it may lead to a subscriber and somebody who regularly watches your videos. And the more you can do this with each of your videos, the more you are going to build that traffic from outside your, you know, your core subscribers. Most channels have the majority of their views from non-subscribers. So being able to, you know, maximize the results of those search results is key in growing your channel. And the great thing about this, as we've previously discussed, is it doesn't impede upon your level of creativity. This is all something that you do after the fact. Yes, it's a little more legwork after you're done creating the video, but it certainly pays off in the long run by building content that is positioned in such a way that people can find it. So that's the way that channels who are focused on, you know, analytics related to growth use things like keyword research to help build their channel. And I think this is absolutely something that Dennis can use to improve the quality of his keywords while having absolutely no impact on the content that he's creating. And one of the other things when you're talking about keywords is you want to make sure that you are taking the highest rated keyword and using it in its entirety as the title of your video. This is also going to help people who are interested in a particular content determine whether or not to click on your video. So that's definitely something that will help the channel grow, you know, without impacting anything else that's going on. So, now the other topic, and this is one that there's great debate on, and that is the call for action. Now, for some people, it is just autopilot. They do it on every video. And of course, the call of action is be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification and like and comment, etc. Some people find that incredibly annoying, you know, and especially channels that are focused on art may think that that just interferes with the video and, you know, kind of impacts the overall performance, and some people just choose to do it at the end of the video. Now, statistically speaking, doing it at the beginning of the video gives you a much better conversion rate in those particular items, because a lot of people don't make it to the end of your videos. So what I would suggest is, it's definitely a way to grow your channel. It is statistically proven, but in the case of Driving Me Crazy, perhaps finding some type of creative, comical, or otherwise artistic way to include that information without making it sound like a commercial right in the beginning of your video. There's all kinds of different ways that you do it. I mean, I know even for my some of the videos on my channel, I refer to it as, you know, the spiel's coming, because, you know, it's just a repetitive thing. But it is something that has to do with human nature, not so much YouTube. But you can watch one of your favorite videos and enjoy what you're watching, but your brain doesn't say, let's click on that like, because there's no reward for you other than knowing that it helps the actual creator that you're watching. So implementing that call for action earlier in your video, in whatever way you choose to, you know, deem that appropriate for what you're doing, can certainly help build the channel without interfering with the content itself. So these are a lot of great ways that you can use, you know, analytics and little tweaks to the channel to improve the channel. And I think Dennis at Driving Me Crazy can certainly implement these changes with minimal impact on the overall artistic direction that his channel is trying to go.
Well, that concludes episode 2 of the Talk Data to Me podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You found something valuable. And if you did find something valuable, be sure to like and subscribe for more tips, more tutorials related to analytics and how you can grow your channel. Also, if you would like to be selected as a channel that gets reviewed in the upcoming episode, be sure to comment it below. Say that you would like to be reviewed. That's how we selected Driving Me Crazy, was from the episode 1, just searching through the comments and selected it. We look forward to seeing more channels, you know, more topics, more everything, because at the end of the day, analytics are across all types of channels, and that's something that we can all talk about and that we can all use to grow together. So thank you for joining in, and we will see you next time.